Good morning, everybody. This is Daniel with SubbleAlgorithm.com, and I am back today to do a slightly more challenging problem than we've done in the past couple of videos. And this one's a little bit of a jump ahead. I'll be covering some of the more simple problems to get to this point after this video. But I did want to show you something that would probably be categorized in the medium category on LeetCode. And I wanted to go through this problem with you and kind of break it down because I think this problem's kind of cool because to solve it, you can actually use a helper method to be able to solve this a little bit more efficiently. So without further ado, let's get started. And this time, I think I figured out OBS to the point that I know some hotkeys, so I'm going to be switching between my Firefox window and then with my code editor. So the problem we're looking at today is called rotate array. And what it says is given an array, rotate the array to the right by k steps. So k is non-negative. Um, it has a follow-up, but we're going to try to do this as simply as possible. It's a little challenging to explain, but bear with me. We're going to go ahead and get through this. So essentially what this is asking is we're going to be rotating an array. Rotating isn't necessarily the challenging part. The challenging part is being told how many steps to rotate by. So I'm gonna break that problem down for you a little bit better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and copy this method. Let's go ahead and switch over to our code editor and copy in our method. So I actually forgot to create a main method for this one, but that is okay. Actually, we already had that. Cool. We're just going to go ahead and test it in the LeetCode window. Okay. So for rotating an array, when I initially solved this problem, the first thing that I was thinking about doing was creating a helper function to do that rotation for us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter a couple of times, and I'm gonna create a private method and call it private void because it's not gonna return anything. Everything's gonna be done in place. I'm gonna call it reverse array. It's gonna take an int array by the same name, nums, and then it's gonna take the start and an ending. Cool. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a while loop. So what I'm going to say, I'm creating some extra space so that it's easier to follow. So I'm going to say that while start is less than end, we're going to create we're going to go ahead and create a placeholder. So I'm going to call it int placeholder, and you'll see what I'm going to use this for in just a second. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the value at the very start of the array and we're going to assign it to that placeholder so that we're holding that one value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do nums, the value at start equals placeholder. Cool. Oh, got that backwards. Sorry. In place, I don't even need int. Placeholder equals nums start. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the very last element in the array, and I'm going to move it to the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is do num start equals nums end. Cool. So right now, essentially what we're doing is we're holding that first value in placeholder so that we don't lose it. And then what we're doing is we're moving that last value, the value at the very last element in the array, and we're putting it into start without forgetting what the first one really was. So now we have to do something with end. So end is going to equal placeholder. We moved what was originally at start to the end, while what was at the end to the start. And now what we have to do is we have to, since this isn't a for loop, it's a while, we're going to iterate from start forward, and then we're going to go back from end. And that's it. That's it. We've got our reverse array method here. Um, but now that we have our helper method set up, we actually have to implement it in our rotate method. So the first thing that I want to do here is, so we have k, and we know that we're going to have to um, first move one element, then we're going to have to move another element, then we have to move another element by whatever number k is. So the first thing that I want to do here is do k equals um, k, we're going to use the modulus operator, the modulo operator, and make that nums.length. Cool. So we're gonna do it by how long that nums array is. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna call our reverse array method, and we're gonna keep moving um, moving the values inside of rotate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do reverse array, and we're gonna pass in nums because that's our very first argument. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set start to 0. And then what we're going to do is to end to nums.length minus k minus 1, because we want to get the last one. So once that's been effectively reversed, we're going to do it again. We're going to do reverse array, and we're going to pass in our nums, and we're going to set the start to nums.length minus k this time. And then the end, we're going to make that nums.length minus 1. Getting a call here. Don't worry, we got a code. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do reverse array and then pass in nums. Oop. And then we're going to make start 0 again. And then we're going to do nums.length minus 1 for the end. And that's it. So each time we're going to run our reverse function, we're going to do it for whatever k asks us to do it within the length of that array. So each time it's going to flip a number, and it's going to move from the very back of the array to the very start of the array, starting with the last element. So let's go ahead and see if we can flip over to the LeetCode editor and see if this works. So, let me see here. I still have to make sure that, oh, all right. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy over all of the code that we just wrote. All right, showing up good. And let's go ahead and run it. All right, so our input, 3, output, that looks good. Let's submit it. Excellent. So we solved that problem successfully. We did it in place, which is good. We didn't have to create any additional collections to be able to keep track of numbers like we did in our previous solutions. Successfully, that reverse array is an O of n runtime because we are just going through that array and then reversing it. And then our space should be O of 1 because we don't need to create any kind of maps, any kind of sets, collections. It's just all in place. So That should be it for this problem. This is a little bit more challenging than the ones I've showed you so far. Um, so I'll have some of the easier ones done so that we can kind of build our way up to a problem like this. But I wanted to be able to show you something that might require an additional function to help us solve it more efficiently. So I hope you took something away from this. And if you liked it, please like the video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the Subtle Algorithm channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much, and have a great day.